This is part 3 of our exhibit tour series about the Margaret M and her talented shipwright, Arthur G. Barnes. In this episode, we continue to admire Mr. Barnes' handiwork and craftsmanship. Well, in the last part, we discussed the seafaring capabilities of this vessel. In this part, I would like to shrink our scale a little bit and appreciate the finer details of this vessel. While in the last episode, we discussed the incredible seafaring capabilities of this wonderful ship. In this episode, I'd like to shrink our scale a little bit and appreciate the finer details of this wonderful vessel and Barnes' incredible craftsmanship. Our last episode demonstrated the sound design of the Margaret M, but Arthur didn't merely settle for a functional ship. From his bakery to his French horn, Arthur was an artist through and through, and this ship is no exception. I'd like to start this section with a little help from a 2006 article of the Pacific Yachting Magazine by Philip Teese. I figured the words of someone far more familiar with sailing than myself would be a good place to start. Then we can break it down from there in our own detail. Philip writes, quote, "As we got to know her more intimately, I began to notice details of her design and construction that were hallmarks of Barnes' artistry. Her seamlessly glued spruce mast has the teardrop sectional of an efficient airfoil. Gooseneck, clew outhaul, and other fittings were custom bronze casting. Our little ship's hull form, with deeply hollowed garboards and sharply curved tumble-home in the topsides, must have involved plank-fitting challenges that would daunt even a sighted builder." Unquote. Those were a lot of technical words I just threw at you, so let's rewind and play this back a little slower. Philip begins with the mast and the sails. While he begins with the teardrop sectional of an efficient airfoil, I believe he is more so making a general reference to its reliable craftsmanship, as the teardrop airfoil is a concept more typically associated with aviation. However, there is absolutely some crossover here. A concept which improved upon the aeronautical teardrop design is asymmetry, and this is a concept the Margaret does in fact take into practice. You see, an asymmetrical airfoil has the advantage of being able to isolate the effects of wind. By the principles of aerodynamics, a symmetrical airfoil will experience peak drag and peak lift as the angle of attack changes throughout use, evening out to a medium overall speed, more or less. Whereas an asymmetrical sail can isolate lift by eliminating the angles which cause drag. After the sail, Philip throws out a few more words that I'm not expecting everybody to understand. After the sail, Philip throws out a few more words that I'm not expecting everyone to understand. What he mentions is the gooseneck, clew outhaul, and other fittings were all custom bronze casting. More expensive for sure, but far more durable and easily able to withstand years of constant use and pressure. This is the gooseneck. It's simply the joint which connects the boom here to the mast structure here. This here is the clew outhaul. The clew is the triangle section of a sail between the leech, which is the back edge of a sail, and the foot, which is the bottom edge of a sail. The outhaul is the rope which connects the clew to the mast structure here. And thus the clew outhaul is actually this joint here, which connects the clew, the triangle of the mast, or the triangle of the sail, to the outhaul, which is the rope that connects it to the boom. The last thing Philip mentions is the tumble-home and the garboards. The tumble-home is actually something we mentioned on the previous episode, so we'll leave that be. The garboards of a sailboat are the first planks on either side directly adjacent to the keel. These boards, as well as the tumble-home, are some of the most difficult processes in wooden ship building. The precise warping and tapering of the wooden planks is incredibly difficult and time-consuming, but yet again, Arthur G. Barnes seems to be able to do it all. Arthur wasn't finished with the fancy metals either. The Margaret M's deep, full-keeled hull was red cedar planked on steamed oak ribs. Her decks, yellow cedar strip planked with dark mahogany. Each material was no doubt a deliberate choice, as with all of Arthur's detailed designs. At this point, I feel like it goes without saying what a talented shipwright Arthur was. As it stands, the Margaret M is a fascinating exhibit unto herself. But the construction process, I assure you, is just as interesting. At this point, I feel it goes without saying what a talented shipwright Arthur was. As it stands, the Margaret M is a fascinating vessel unto herself, but I assure you the construction process is just as interesting. You've seen the detail thus far, the precision, the capability. You've seen the detail thus far, the precision, the capability. Now it's time we delve into the construction of this fascinating vessel. Now it's time we delve into the construction of this fascinating boat and the unbelievable methods Arthur employed to machine such a wonderful craft into existence. Tune in next time if you want to learn how exactly a person goes about crafting such a magnificent vessel under such difficult circumstances. Till next time.